Software products demand excellent quality all the time. Now, in order to ensure delivery of a quality product, engineers involved in testing the product normally adopt various testing approaches such as the functional, UI, security, and database, etc., using the latest technologies available in the market. Hello everyone, welcome to today's live session where we will talk about one such tool for performing testing and how it is used on Jenkins. So today's session is all about how to use Apache JMeter in Jenkins. Now before I begin with the session, I would like to have a confirmation that I'm audible to you guys. So it looks like I'm audible to you guys. So let's get started with today's session. Now before we begin the session, let's have a look at the agenda first. So first we will have a small introduction to JMeter, and then we will move on and have a small introduction to Jenkins. And then I'll tell you about the advantages of integrating JMeter in Jenkins. And then I'll show you how to use JMeter in Jenkins. So let's get started. Now, it is quite difficult for humans to execute performance testing manually, so it is inevitable that we depend on a performance testing tool to do the job. When we go for simply the best solution in all aspects of software development, why not in the matter of performance testing too? Now, JMeter is the final words in this department to be used for ensuring quality deliveries in time. So, what is Apache JMeter? Now, Apache JMeter is a Java open source software that is used as a load testing tool for analyzing and measuring the performance of a variety of services. It is basically a pure Java open source software which is used for testing the web applications or FTP application. Now, if you want to get into the details of Apache JMeter, do make sure to watch our JMeter tutorial and also how to perform load testing using JMeter. That will give you a deeper insight about this performance testing tool. Now moving on, what is Jenkins? Now Jenkins is basically an extensible open source continuous integration server. It builds and tests your software continuously and monitors the execution and status of remote jobs, making it easier for the team members and users to regularly obtain the latest stable code. You can also refer to our Jenkins tutorial for more information on this. But today's session is about how to use JMeter in Jenkins. But before we move on to that, why exactly should we use JMeter in Jenkins? So let's have a look at the different advantages of using JMeter in Jenkins. Now, continuous integration, test automation, and shifting left are becoming the standard for DevOps developers and the QA engineers as well. But despite the importance of performance and the understanding that systems are complex and it can be challenging to identify and fix bottlenecks in a short time, load testing is still not an integral part of the CI workflow. So Jenkins easily enables user to integrate load testing into its workflow. So by using Jenkins as part of the CI process and to trigger jobs by commits, users are taking advantage of automation and process speed up capabilities. So some of the advantages include the unattended test executions right after software build and deploy. Then we have the automatic build failures in case of performance degradation. Then we have easy access to test reports that show application metric trends. All tests are in one place and available to anybody with the correct permissions. Not just that, the automated routine work of test configuration, execution, and baseline results analysis. Now users' hands and minds are free for more important, complex, and interesting tasks. Now these were some of the reasons why we should integrate our JMeter in Jenkins. So now let's move on and see how we can do this. So I'll give you a step-by-step guide on how you can use your JMeter in Jenkins. So in this session, we will configure our JMeter and run it in Jenkins. So basically, we will perform our JMeter test in our Jenkins. So now basically in Jenkins, you have plugins that support JMeter. So what you can do is perform the test in JMeter and also get your performance result report in your Jenkins. Okay, so now before we start the session, the first thing that we would need is to install Jenkins. Now in order to install Jenkins, all you need to do is type download Jenkins and go inside this website. And once you're inside this website, all you need to do is select your operating system. So I'm using Windows, so I'll be downloading Jenkins for Windows. So this is how you get to download your Jenkins. I have already installed Jenkins in my system. So I was just showing you the process on how you can do it for your system. Now once the download is complete, all you need to do is go to your Jenkins folder and just run your application. Now the localhost ID for Jenkins is 8080. So once you have done installing your Jenkins application in your system, you can go to your localhost 8080 and you can see that your Jenkins is ready to work now. So this is your Jenkins dashboard in which you can build your project and get your performance report as well. Now the next step is to get the performance plugin. Now in order to get that, you can just go inside your Manage Jenkins and here you will get an option Manage Plugins. Now once you are inside your Manage Plugins, you will get to see your available installed all sort of plugins that are already there. Now for the performance testing, we would need the performance plugin. So you can just search here and get your performance plugin and install it in your Jenkins. Now I have already installed it before, so it's already there inside my Jenkins. Now this plugin basically allows the tracking of your performance based on the results that you read from your Apache JMeter. Now in order to get the results that you have run on your Apache JMeter, you will need this particular plugin. Otherwise, you would not be able to see any of your test reports in Jenkins. Now, once your Jenkins is up and ready in your system, the next thing you would need is JMeter. Now, for JMeter, all you need to do is same download JMeter, and you just have to install this performance testing tool in your system. So you can just download any of these binary files and install it in your system. You can also go back and check out, there's a video on how to install JMeter, which will give you step-by-step guidance on how you can install this particular tool in your system. Now I have already installed Apache JMeter in my system, so let's see what we need to do next. Now once both Jenkins and JMeter are up and running in your system, all you need to do is go to your JMeter folder and open the bin folder inside that. Now inside your bin folder, there would be a file named as the user properties. So here we have the user properties. Now inside this file, all you have to do is go and just type this particular command. That is the jmeter.save.saveservice.output_format equals to XML. Now this will just provide you your output format that will help you in your Jenkins report generation. So I have already inserted this command in this particular file, and then all you need to do is just save it. So these were the first three important steps that we need to do in order to begin with the session. That is, first you will need your Jenkins. So we have to download and install Jenkins in your system, and then we will also check if JMeter is installed or not. If not, you have to install JMeter as well, and then you have to add one particular command inside your user properties file in your JMeter bin. So now the three steps are completed. Let's move on and see what to do. The next step would be just using your Apache JMeter, create a test plan. So this is my Apache JMeter user interface, and here I'll create a test plan that will also generate the reports in my Jenkins. So now let me name my test plan as Edureka, and inside my test plan I'm going to add thread groups. So let me just take 5 threads or users, and let me give the loop count as 2. Now next, inside this thread group, I'll add one HTTP request. So here we have to add our server name or the IP address for the website that we're going to perform our testing on. So here I'll be taking the example of the Edureka website, that is the edureka.co. So this is our Edureka website on which I'm going to perform the test on. So I'll just copy this IP address and I'll paste it here. In JMeter, we don't put the HTTPS, so the server name or the IP would be www.edureka.co. Now I have to set a path inside this. So you can see that inside the Edureka website, we have different paths where we can get into. That is, we have our cloud computing, DevOps, software testing, and all these paths take you to all these courses that we provide. And it gives you a brief description about what these courses are and what you get to learn. So let me first take the course on cloud computing. So let me set a path to this particular course. So here I'll just paste the path to my cloud computing certification courses. And let me just rename it as cloud. Now let me create another HTTP request. So the server name will be the same as www.edureka.co. Now let me traverse to another path. So let's just take big data as our second path. So here I'll copy this particular path and use it here. Now let me just rename this one as big data. Again, let me just take another HTTP request. Same way, I'll just type www.edureka.co. And this time, let me take another path. So this time, let's go inside our software testing course. And I'll rename this one as software testing. Okay, so now that we have created all the HTTP requests, now next up, I'll add a listener, that is where I can view my results. So we can select the option on how we want to view our results. So there are view results tree, view results in table. So let me just select view results in table. Now before we run our test, we always have to save our test. So let me just save this test as demo2, and the extension is always .jmx. Now I have saved this test plan. Now let's run this test and see what happens. So once I start this test, you can see that it's going on. So yeah, the test is happening and you can see that the number of thread group for cloud, big data and software testing takes place. First, it takes place 5 times because I have taken the thread user number as 5, and the loop count will go on for 2 times. So you can see that the status here is green. That means the test is going on fine and there is no error that has occurred in this test yet. So now in the JMeter user interface, you can see that the test is going on perfectly all right and the website is functioning perfectly. Now in order to generate our test reports in our Jenkins, we would need to run this test in the non-GUI method. So now in order to run this test in the non-GUI method, we'll go to our command prompt. And here we just have to specify the path inside our JMeter folder. So I'll specify this particular path. And now we are inside our Apache JMeter bin folder. Now you can also go back and check out our video on load testing using JMeter in the non-GUI mode, which will give you a step-by-step guide on how you can perform your testing in the non-GUI mode as well. So now let's have a look at the command in order to run our test plan in the non-GUI mode. So first we have to write JMeter and then we go for -n. Okay, now in this one we can also go for -j. That is if you want to send any parameter. So here we will be sending a parameter as jmeter.save.service.output_format equals to XML, just to ensure that this format is up and running and we can get the output in the same format, that is in our XML format in our Jenkins as well. So we'll just pass this parameter in order to ensure that this is happening. Then it's -n, which is used to specify the test plan to run in our non-GUI mode. Then we have -t, which specifies the path to our source of .jmx file where we have actually saved our test plan. Next, we will just copy the path to our JMX file. So you can see that our JMX file is right here, that is demo2.jmx. So I'll just copy this path and insert my file name, that is Edureka test plan.jmx. So with -L, we specify the path to our output file or the file where we are getting our results. So I'll copy the path as well. We want it inside the bin folder only. So let me just name it as report, and we want a JTL file. You can have a JTL file or a CSV file. Now let me just run this command and see what happens. So here you can see that the tree has been successfully created and the test has been started. So now basically the same test has been taking place in the non-GUI mode. So this will take a certain time, and we also got to see the status in our GUI format in the form of a table. Now in this case we will get it in our .jtl file, and it will show us the same status as the testing is performing completely fine or not. Now once the test will be completed, it will show you that the test is completed, and then you can go back and check your result in your folder, in your bin folder, where you have saved your test report or where you have saved your test plan as well. So here you can see that it shows end of run, that is the test plan has successfully completed the testing. So inside your bin folder, you can go back and see that your JTL file is created where you have your report ready. So now this was about running your test in JMeter using the non-GUI mode. I have also shown you that the test is completely up and running in the user interface mode as well. So now that the test has run completely fine in the JMeter, now it's time to import this in our Jenkins and get our performance result report. Now how do we do that? Now for that we have to go back to our local host 8080. Now once we are inside our Jenkins dashboard, so in the left side there is an option called as new item. So here you just have to enter an item for your project. So here I'll just name my project as JMeter test, and I want it to be a freestyle project, and then just click on OK. So now the project JMeter test has been created. Now the next step is to add a build setup. So just to give you a quick review, we have followed quite a few steps till now. That is, first we have installed our Jenkins, that we have installed our JMeter, and then we have set our path as jmeter.save.saveservice.output format equals to XML inside our user properties file in JMeter bin. Then we have created a test plan inside our JMeter and performed the test plan in GUI and checked that it's all up and running. And then finally, we have moved on and also tested our plan in the non-GUI mode. So once the test is completed and it's up and running, we have come back to our local host 8080. That is, it's time to get our result report in our Jenkins now. Now the next step is to add a build step. So once we click into add build step, you'll see all these options. Now I'm using Windows, so I'll select execute Windows batch command. If you're using Linux, you can go for execute shell. So here I'll click on execute Windows batch command. So now we would be needing this particular command in our Jenkins. So let me just copy this one first and go back to Jenkins. So here I'll just paste this particular command. Now here what I'm doing is I'm importing the particular test plan in my Jenkins and giving it the path to my test report, where the test plan has already been successfully completed. Now this will give Jenkins the details about my test and also the report that has been generated, and thus Jenkins will take that report and give me a performance report here. So at first I have to provide the path to my JMeter bin, and then I have to give my path to the test report, that is the JMX file, and also the report file, that is the .jtl file. So now once this is done, there's another important step that we need to perform. So next is the add post build action. So once we have completed our add build setup, next up is another important step where we have to add post build action. Now here we have to select the publish performance test result report. Now at the beginning, if you remember, we have installed this performance plugin inside our Jenkins. So now that particular performance plugin is added as our post build action, where we publish our performance test result report. Now this particular plugin will first collect the data, then conditionally fail the build if the error threshold is exceeded, build or update the performance trend chart for the project. So now you know why we needed that particular plugin inside our Jenkins. So now here I'll select Publish Performance Test Result Report. Now here in the source data files, you have to specify the path on where the report is saved. So this is our path where my report is saved. So I've saved it as report.jtl. So I'll copy this particular path and I'll provide this particular path here inside the source data files. So here we have the standard mode selected. Yeah, so that's all that you need to do. First, you need to build your setup, and then another important step is definitely the post-build actions, where you have to specify the path of your test report that will be generated here. So now that we have done all of these, I'll save. So now the project JMeter test has been created. So now once the project is created, it's time that you build it and get to see the results. So once the project is created, now we will go inside Build Now. So you can see that the last build was 13 seconds ago. That is just now that I have performed the JMeter test. So now that this is done, so now once we have selected the Build Now option, you can see that the test is building here and it's in progress. So the build goes on executing, and once it is completed, you can get your performance report. So in the console output, you can see that your build status is success and your test has been completed. So you can see that your test has been successfully completed. So you have finally finished your performance testing on the Edureka website. Now in order to check your performance report, you can go to your performance report and see your response time and percentage of errors. Now we have just done the test once, so there's just one line that is visible and there's no comparison yet. But if you run the test a number of times, you will be able to see a graph that shows you the difference between the number of builds. So you can see there are no errors because there has been no error in our website as of now, and you can see the response time here. And here you have all the samples on C. I have taken big data, cloud, software testing. So it provides me with all the details of the performance that has taken place. Now I can go back to my project and just click on Build Now. So it will create another build and I can just go and check on my performance trend again. So now that I have built my project 2 times, so you can see that there's a graph you can see here on the response time, and the percentage of errors is still 0. Now we can go to our trend report and we can see the number of builds. So the number of times you perform the build on, you can see all of those builds that has been performed here, and then you can see the maximum, median, min, percentage of errors and average errors and everything that you need to see. So you can definitely understand your performance trend better with the help of Jenkins. So in this particular one, you can see the response time, the average, the median, and all of these reports that are generated in our Jenkins. So this is one easy way on how you can use your JMeter in Jenkins. So this way you can easily enable the user to integrate load testing into your workflow. So we had saved our report in the report.jtl file. So you can see that the test file gives the report.jtl where you have your response time and also the percentage of errors. So this way in Jenkins, you get to see the performance report of the test that you have performed on any particular website or server using your Apache JMeter. So I hope now you have understood on how you can use JMeter in Jenkins. If you have any doubt about how to install Apache JMeter or how you're going to use it, you can always check our YouTube channel and check the videos on JMeter. That is how to install JMeter and load testing in JMeter in the non-GUI mode. And you can also check out our playlist on Jenkins. That will help you understand these two in a better way. And I hope this session was helpful for you to understand on how you can use these two together in order to perform your testing in a better way. So this was all about today's session. So don't forget to shoot your questions in the chat section beside. Me and my team will get back to you with all your queries answered. So do let us know if you have any doubt regarding today's session, or if you want to ask any question about Apache JMeter, performance testing, or Jenkins. Me and my team will get back to you shortly. So I hope you have enjoyed this session. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till then, thank you and happy learning.